Hi, everyone. My name is Anthony Caruso III, and I am the publisher of the Capital Sports Report. I am also the host of the Capital Sports Report Live. Tonight, we are joined by an inspirational gentleman, top alcohol, funny car tuner, and owner, Jay Blake. Jay is 100% blind. Welcome to the show tonight, Jay.
Thank you. It's great to be back on the Capital Sports Report.
Jay, like I mentioned in the intro, you are 100% blind. For those that do not know, can you tell our audience how you lost your eyesight in May 1997?
May 22nd, 1997, I was working as the head mechanic for a transportation company when a forklift wheel and tire assembly exploded in my face, causing me to lose total sight, smell, and taste. And that was 25 years ago.
Yes, and since then, you've been an inspiration to a lot of people in motorsports.
Well, I am truly blessed to have survived the accident. I had a near death experience. The first thing I remember, I don't remember the accident. The first thing I remember is I woke up in what I describe as a cloud. It was incredibly white, incredibly bright, and oh my God, was it peaceful. The peacefulness was just undescribable. And I was just kind of there. I couldn't, all I saw was white. But then this male voice said to me, "Do you want to stay or do you want to go?" And I believed the question. And I said, "I have two kids. I have to go." And the next thing I remember is I woke up and I said, my older brother was there. And I said, "Am I alive?" And he said, "Yes." And I said, "Am I blind?" And he said, "We think so." Because at that time, they were trying to save my right eye, which they were unable to do. But so I am truly blessed to be alive and very blessed to be able to do what I do with the amazing group, the team, and our sponsors that allow us to travel the country motivating children and adults and racing in the NHRA.
Before your accident, were you involved in any kind of drag racing or that just started after you were blind?
My dream as a kid was to work on a top fuel racing team,
Okay.
but I never pursued that. I got married, I had kids, and my older brother had built his first drag racing car. He's 6 years older than I am. He built a car in high school, and I used to go with him and work on his car and that kind of stuff. But that was my only involvement. I was a huge fan. I read National Dragster. I watched it on TV. I'd go to some local racing, but I was not actively involved.
Okay. Jay, after your accident a few years later, you started Follow a Dream, a nonprofit organization. Could you tell our audience about that organization?
Follow a Dream really started as just that, a dream. I was at Maple Grove for the national event back in, I think it was 98 or 9, 98, I think. And I went with a buddy of mine, and I was very hesitant to go because I didn't think I could enjoy the sport anymore. But he had never been, and his buddies had never been. So we went and they got me to go. And when I was there, I realized that I could still enjoy the sport. And I decided that that's what I was going to try and do with the rest of my life. I was going to start my own race team. And when I came home and started trying to put the pieces together, I wanted to do something with it. I didn't want to just race. And
Okay.
I wanted to go back and encourage kids to believe in themselves, to think positively, to work on their education, and to follow their dream. When I was in school, I wasn't a great student. I was not a great athlete. All I wanted to do was work on cars and go racing. That's all I ever wanted to do. So I never really fit into any real group and struggled, with learning and self esteem and just high school struggles. And I just wanted to go back and show kids that no matter what you dream of, no matter who you are, you all have qualities, and if you work hard and pursue your dreams, that you can do it. So I named the race team Follow a Dream and set up a nonprofit so we could raise money to take the Follow a Dream program to schools and motivate kids to, you know, to work hard, get a great education, and to follow their dream, no matter what their dream is. Whether they want to be a doctor or a lawyer or a race car driver or a mechanic or a builder, whatever, doesn't matter.
Very, very true. When you interact with these people that you speak with, have they come up to you after you speak to them and they said, "Jay, thank you for speaking to me. You touched me, and that led me into that. You inspired me to my dream." Have you had some people say that to you? Because sometimes it takes, like, people say, "Oh, I'm gonna do this," but it takes like something or someone to say something to them then it finally clicks in them, and then they pursue it. They don't. Some people don't pursue it right away. They procrastinate on it.
Well, I think we all can procrastinate, but yes, I've been very fortunate that I have had people from the racetrack to schools to corporate events I've done that all come up and thank me for speaking and sharing my words. And, I've received letters, and it's been amazing at the feedback I've received from all different kinds of groups. So it's very special. One comes to mind. I was fortunate enough. I visited Walter Reed Army Hospital now a number of times, and I was talking to a gentleman there that was on his way to physical therapy, and he really wasn't feeling it. Excuse me. And if I remember right, he was a captain, and we talked, and he thanked me for, you know, impacting him and making a difference. And he wasn't going to give up, and he was going to go to physical therapy. And it was, amazing to me. This is a guy that was fighting for our country, for our freedom. I mean, talk about badass. I mean, this guy's it. And he's thanking me. It's incredibly humbling, but very, very cool at the same time.
Yes, and we appreciate what the military does for us to want to allow you to have a race team and allow me to do what I do every day. So we
Absolutely.
appreciate what they do for us.
Yes, the back of the car, the back of the race car is dedicated to the troops. It says free to dream, thanks to our troops. And then we invite troops to sign the back of the car because, without their sacrifice, we would not be free to do all this crazy things we do.
Yes, and you touched on it. The follow a dream is also has allow you to be a motivational speaker, and you touched on going to Walter Reed. You touched on talking to the kids. Does one of these stories, or is it that military story that stands out the most to you that tells you what I'm doing is right, and it's my messages convey with the audience that I speak with? Because a lot of these kids today, they have distractions in their lives, and it causes them to lose focus on what they really want to do.
Yes, that's so very true. And, you know, high school is such a difficult time for a lot of people. Uh, uh, you ask about stories. I was up in Vermont only a couple of years ago speaking at a technical school. And, I did the 5 tools for your life's toolbox presentation and shared the story with the kids. And afterwards, we pass out, hero cards, pictures of the car. And if people want like them signed and put their name on, we do all that. And there was this girl at the end of the line, and I'm standing there. The principal is there, and there's a few of us adults there. And this girl walked over, and she was very quiet, and she wanted to talk, and she asked a couple of questions about dealing with hard times and how I didn't give up and suggestions for her. And it was a very wonderful conversation. It was short, but I said to her, I says, "Can I give you a hug?" And she said yes. And I gave her a hug, and she went on her way. And like I said, she was the last person in the line. So she left, and I was kind of like, all right, time to go. And the principal was like in shock. And I'm like, what's up? And he said, that girl hasn't talked in 2 months. But I'm like, what?
Wow.
And just to be able to do that for somebody is just awesome. And when things like that happen, yes, I realize that I am doing the right thing, and we need to be doing this. And that is it is why I'm here. It's why I do what I do, and I'm incredibly fortunate to do it. And we'll keep going.
Yes. So Jay, I put a message on the screen. I know you can't see it. So it's from Tori Kono, a Northeast Division racer that you know from Jackie's niece, and she said you are the best.
Thanks, Tori. You're pretty awesome too.
In 2003, you formed your own Top Alcohol Funny Car team, which is what we've been talking about. Could you talk about starting that team, and now 20 years later, it's still in operation?
Yeah, it's amazing. Um, when I started Follow a Dream, I knew I could not afford to do it on my own. So I needed a sponsor. And at the beginning, I couldn't find a sponsor. So my brother had driven Supercomp cars in the past, And I asked him if I got a super comp car, if he'd drive it. And he told me I was crazy and this made no sense, but he said, yes, I'll drive it. And I started with a super comp car, but again, I like to work on them. I know I can't drive them, and frankly, never wanted to drive them. I just love to work on them. And so we raced the super comp car for a little while, but wanted to grow the program and find sponsorship, and super comp really wasn't the right place. So I was either going to go top fuel racing or alcohol racing. And I ended up deciding to go alcohol racing. I remortgaged my house and bought it. I bought Frank Manzo's alcohol funny car because I figured we knew nothing. So if I started with a good piece, we could learn from that. And Frank was absolutely amazing. We went down and the whole car was apart, and him and John Glade showed us how to put it all together, and we took notes. It was there was Todd Vitti was there. He was going to drive it, and my brother, he was going to work on it, and another guy, Scott DeWitt. And we spent the whole day there and started it up at the end of the day and started the alcohol funny car career. And the dream was to go win a Wally. And today, I think we've won like 21 or 2 of them. And it's amazing. I've had amazing drivers, Phil Burkhart, Todd Vitti, Dave Ray, just amazing drivers and amazing teammates that have allowed the Follow Dream alcohol funny car racing program to grow and continue and to be successful. We had our first tuner was Tom Howell, and he was a local guy and just taught us all and was absolutely brilliant. And we had great success. And now Anthony Terenzio, who's been around racing forever, he tunes the car and is doing a great job. And it's amazing when you start to look back and the success we've had and just the people that have hung around our pit area. And it's just the teammates, and it's just awesome.
Taylor Nobile said, "Hi, Jay."
Hi, Taylor.
Jay, when I first met you in 2014 at Echo Dragway, you had Todd Vinney as your funny car driver. He has since left and departed driving. Now he works at Fox Sports and a part of the NHRA on Fox telecast team. And now you have Phil Burkhart as your driver the past several years. And you said Dave Ray was also a driver for you. Could you talk about working with these drivers that you worked with?
It's been a true pleasure and a great opportunity. I met Dave Ray through Tom Howell. Dave Ray lives in New Hampshire and had his own alcohol funny car and had success with that. And, great family, great people. And Todd, again, great family, great people. And Phil, great family, great people. And, Phil and I had talked over the years, and it's been great to have him and his family come race with us. And it's amazing what you learn from the drivers. And, we all have the same passion. We love this sport. And it's just, that's one thing about drag racing. It just the passion in the sport for the competitors it's just great, and it's really like a family. And every driver has their own idiosyncrasies and their own personalities, and they're all different. And you learn something from all of them. But just like teammates, and because the driver is just that, he's the driver or she's the
Yes.
driver. But it
Yes.
takes the entire team to make it successful. The guy doing the lower end or doing the clutch or putting the fuel in the car, or Anthony Terenzio. I do not tune the car. Anthony Terenzio tunes the car, down to the guy cooking the food and the truck driver. I mean, it takes everybody to make it happen. And that's what's so awesome.
Jackie Frick has commented. She said, Jay is such an asset to the sport. Congrats on the
Thanks,
win this
Jack.
weekend.
Thanks, Jackie.
A few years ago, when I went to you guys, when I went to your pit area, 2019, September 2019, and we kind of learned that you were losing Permatex. And I talked to Diane Kabicki, helped me talk to Phil about losing that sponsorship. You lost that sponsorship that was like a decade or long. I think it was like 14 years. You told me it was.
Yes, it was
Permatex,
14
a
years.
long time, 14 years on your car. Could you talk about working with them for so long when sponsorships are not like that anymore? You see like a sponsor maybe a year or two and then they leave.
The relationship that I had with Permatex was awesome. And it grew over time. And they were believers in the Follow a Dream program and bringing the message to students and kids in schools. They wanted to help motivate kids, but they also wanted to introduce kids to the Permatex brand. My slogan is, we can educate tomorrow's next customer. And so we did a lot with Permatex, and we had a great relationship. And then we survived a couple of corporate management changes. And then the one at the end of 2018, we did not survive. And then COVID hit and basically took us out at the knees. But fortunately, I was able to keep everything. And we are currently looking for corporate sponsorship for this year, but for next year and beyond as well. And also, funny enough, I'm flying out tomorrow morning to go do some work with Permatex on some training videos and different things, and also speaking to their staff in Ohio. The Permatex products are made right here in America in Solon, Ohio, and I'm going to be out there for the next couple of days with them. So we've rekindled some of the relationship. Who knows where it will go, but it is a great product made in America, and so we'll see what happens. But they're a great company, great people, and it keeps things sealed up and locked up. So it's all good.
Could that potentially lead to a rekindling of a sponsorship on your car?
If I had a crystal ball, I'd be running a Top Fuel car.
I know we're going to talk about that later. So we don't know.
Yeah, who knows? When the financial part of the sponsorship ended, the product side of the sponsorship did not end. So
Okay.
we did not sever ties completely. we just downsized tremendously.
Okay. You previously told me that you were close to having a sponsor after Permatex ended that was going to come on board, and then all of a sudden the world ended, so to speak. 2 years ago, the world went on hold, and then you kind of lost that sponsorship.
Yes, we were working on something and had a verbal agreement that was going to get us back to the racetrack. And when COVID hit, it just all fell apart, because nobody knew what was going to happen. Nobody knew about racing. You couldn't go speak at schools. It was really unbelievable how it just everything stopped, and we did not have the ability to to put anything together, and it was a very difficult time because people nobody was in the office, nobody knew what was going to happen. So to try and talk with a company and explain what we do, well, that's great, but we're not even sure we can do it. And
Yeah,
honestly, I was very thankful to be in the position I was in because we did not have a sponsor and we didn't have any obligations. So, if you had a sponsor and they had given you money at the beginning of the year and you spent it
New notifications from Outlook.
gearing up
Adrian, Party
gearing
Popper
up for the
W11.
season, and now all of a sudden you're upside down because you spent a bunch of money and you can't produce, it could have been disastrous. So, despite all of it, there was, fortunate pieces to it. So, and we're here today. So, it's all good.
yes. Jay, a fellow competitor, a guy you know very well, just commented. Uh, you may have beat him this weekend. DJ Cox said, "Congrats on the win, Jay."
Thanks, DJ. See you in Echo. They're a great family, a great team.
Yes, I've talked to DJ before many times.
Yes.
They're
Yep.
out of
Just,
Maryland.
and that's the thing about this sport. There's just so many great people.
Yes, so, and everyone's so welcoming. When I'm at the racetrack with you guys, like everyone says, like, "Do you want something to eat? Do you want something to drink?" They're so welcoming to you, and they're not like rude to you, like I've experienced in some other sports.
We appreciate what you're doing. You're helping promote the sport that we love. You're helping promote us. You're doing things to help us. If somebody's not welcoming to you, then keep walking because there are plenty of people that want to hang out with you.
Well, thank you, thank you. I say that, yeah, some people have been rude to me, and I was like, whatever. I don't need to give you coverage or anything. So
Right,
there's so
exactly.
many other people that I can write about.
Yeah.
This season, after 2 years being sidelined, you brought your team back. You don't have a new sponsor. You don't have a primary sponsor, but you're basically running this out of your own pocket, I'm guessing, to run these divisionals and one national event that you were planning on competing in. Is that what you're
Uh,
doing when you got out of your own pocket?
I'll be totally honest. Everybody tells me it's not the right thing to do, and I get it. But no, I took a loan out to do this, and but I didn't remortgage my house this time. So I figure that's a step in the right direction. Um, I took a leap of faith, and hopefully we can find a sponsor and work to pay back the loan and keep racing. So I can't afford to do it myself. So credit, because let's face it, right? In my mind, money sitting in a bank, one, it's no fun, and
Yeah.
it doesn't do any good. Some people like to collect money. I like to spend it. So
Yes.
So I'd rather collect, Brad Anderson cylinder heads and engine blocks and stuff like that.
Well, if there's a sponsor out there watching this tonight, help out Jay so he can repay his loan.
You know what? The bottom line is we want to motivate kids to believe in their dreams and to work hard and to get an education. And I mean, this country has so much to offer. We need people to be out there working and going after the American dream.
Yes. In April, your team in the first race back won at Echo Dragway. And then this past weekend in New York, your team won again. Could you talk about those two wins so far this season?
Well, they were very different. We went to Echo. We were all very excited and had a little trouble. Actually, we had a little trouble there too. And ended up, blowing out some of the cobwebs and shaking some of the rust off. But we ended up having to put a set of rods in it. And but we were able to get to the final. There were only 3 cars there, unfortunately, but we raced DJ in the final, and they're as stout a competitor as you get anywhere in the country. And it was a pedal fest, and it was a great race. It's just fun racing people that you respect and like. And so we were able to win that, which was awesome to come back from sitting for 2 years and getting the win. And then leaving for Lebanon Valley, we had truck problems. The steering in the truck locked up and you couldn't turn the steering wheel. And I have a toter home with a ball style hitch. So there aren't many people around that you can borrow a truck to move that. And many years ago, we made a 5th wheel pin for the trailer. And Jim Curtis runs a Mustang. He had a tractor and let us borrow it so we could get to Lebanon Valley. And then we got there, and the blower ate a bolt on the second qualifying run. And again, in the finals, it was us and Paul Gill, the Moduline car. Great people, great friends, and another pedal fest. And we came out victorious again. So it's been an eventful year. We're looking to go to Echo in August and repeat. There's a great points battle, with DJ and Matt Gill and us. So it's going to be a fun remainder of the year. We're trying to find funding to go to Virginia, which is the last race of the year. And we'll see what happens.
Yes, and if they do Virginia, if it's like Virginia in the past, are they going to have 2 races? Because one year they had like a double weekend, like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday thing. I don't know what their plans this year is.
I don't know what their plans are. I know we're not going to race twice in Virginia. We just once.
Okay.
Yeah, we have Echo August 5th, and then our home track, New England Dragway, I think it's August 25th. Then we go to Maple Grove for the national event, and then to Virginia.
Okay. Your daughter commented saying, "Hi, Dad."
Hi.
You were racing this season, like I said, with no primary sponsor, but your goal is to race and show a sponsor that we're doing good so that you can potentially come on board. Since you've raced so far this season, have you had any interaction with a potential primary sponsor?
No, we haven't, but it gives you the opportunity to talk to people. And networking is really how it all happens. So I keep putting it out there. We keep talking. the team keeps working incredibly hard and we keep performing. So we just, as Scott DeWitt, who was one of the original crew members, been a racer for years. He said, "You'll never hit the ball if you don't swing the bat," and that slogan stuck with me. So you got to keep swinging the bat. And then the world famous Ed Parker from the Cape Codder, he says, "You just got to keep kissing frogs. Sooner or later, you might find a prince." So you just got to keep looking.
Yes. Well,
I'm not kissing many frogs, though, I'll tell you.
Yeah, me neither. I remember, I told you before we started this that it was like 7 or 8 years ago. I remember Brittany Force, John put Brittany Force out there with no sponsor, and then Monster Energy came in around May of that year, and she raced with it for like the rest of the season, then lived a few seasons, and then lost it, and then now she's back with them. But that's how she got Monster Energy, was just racing and being out there, and eventually something happened where she got a deal, and maybe that will happen with you guys too.
Absolutely. Yes.
You just
We
got to
have a
put
lot,
yourself out
we have a
there and see
lot
what
to
happens.
offer.
Yes. When you're at the racetrack, most people may not know this, but we're going to tell them today, outside of the racers, the fans, you tear down the cars where you work with the tools, and you also work on the car as well.
Yes. My true love is working on the car. Like I said, I never wanted to be a driver, and I have no desire, but I love working on them, and it's amazing how you can do things with your eyes closed. You adapt, and I see through my hands, and you just do things differently. Um, there is nothing that can substitute for a set of eyes. But what I do when I need to borrow them, I just ask somebody to come over and look at something. I call it borrowing their eyes. And, when I'm in the shop, I can disassemble the entire car myself and reassemble the majority of it. Someday I'm going to build a complete motor myself, but I just haven't done it yet. I still try and accumulate some talking tools, and the big thing I haven't figured out is how to degree the cam in without borrowing a set of eyes. So that's the one thing I'm trying to figure out. But someday I'm going to build a motor and put it together.
Well, I remember one time you were actually in the car and your crew members were pushing you into your hauler area.
I can drive. I just can't see where I'm going. So, that's the only problem, Anthony. I just can't see where I'm going.
Yes.
Yes. But
You
yeah,
have,
I don't drive it
okay,
often.
so
And honestly, I have only sat in the funny car once with it running.
oh wow.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
have your 5 tools for your life's toolbox. Could you tell our audience about that?
5 tools for your life's toolbox is the primary presentation that I give. And these 5 tools you can use and reach your goals and your dreams. It's a positive attitude, education, passion, determination, and teamwork. And those 5 tools have taken me from a hospital bed to be with you today and travel the country and win races and do all that we do. Those tools is what it takes. And the other piece it takes is an awful lot of hard work.
Yes, and a team behind you, not only yourself, but a team behind you that believes in your vision to allow you to do what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, none of us are successful by ourselves. No matter who you are or what you do, you need a team. And
Yes,
that's really, you know, especially when we talk to the kids, is to encourage them to believe in their strengths and not in their weaknesses, because we are all different and we all have strengths and we all have weaknesses. And that's where
yes,
teamwork is so important, is just everybody coming together focused on a common goal and working together, supporting each other, encouraging each other, and learning from each other.
very, very, very true. I touched on this one national event. Is that was that New Hampshire that we just passed last weekend, or are you coming down here to Maple Grove in September?
Maple Grove will be the national event we run this year. Alcohol cars do not run in New Hampshire, and maybe that'll change. But right now, we will be in Maple Grove in September.
All right, so I'll see you in back-to-back months then, August and September.
Absolutely.
2 years ago, I also touched on this before we began. 2 years ago, you worked on a bench for a Hall of Fame that your brother belongs to, that is outside of the Hall of Fame today, and you put a special coat on it so the weather will not damage it.
Yes. My After my accident, I went to a school called the Carroll Center for the Blind in Newton, Massachusetts. And there they had a wood shop and showed me how to work with tools without sight. And I built a bench. And the bench that I built, I had taken home and it basically had rotted away. And my daughter wanted me to rebuild one for her house.
Okay.
So during COVID, I built a bench for my daughter for her house. And my brother said, "Hey, you should build one of those for the Hall of Fame up at New England Dragway." See, the New England Dragway is the New England Hot Rod Hall of Fame, and it's a rock on a little island, not surrounded by water, but and people go out there, and they wanted to put a bench out there for people to sit on. So I made the bench and made arm rests out of connecting rods and had and braces under it or connecting rods. Had some fun with it. It's made out of wood, and it was really cool. So then we brought it up there and put it up at the rock. And during the winter, the Orientals is the car club that is in charge of the New England Hot Rod Hall of Fame, and they take care of it during the winter and put it out during the race season so people can go up there and sit and check out the rock and relax and have a drink. So it's pretty neat.
Yeah, they got to see it. What was that, last weekend when the national event was just there?
Yeah, absolutely right.
And now what's it, this weekend? I think it is. They're in Bristol, Tennessee, and then next weekend they're in Summit Motorsports Park in Norwalk, Ohio, and then they get their dollar ice cream.
That's right. Yes.
Was it like 1 gallon for $1? I think it is.
It's a buck a pound.
A pound of ice cream for $1.
Yeah.
That's pretty insane. But I've never been there. And then they get the fireworks show.
Yes.
On
Yeah,
Friday.
hopefully they have great weather and they can put on a great show.
Yes, the Baders own that track. Well,
Yes, and they do a great
uh,
job.
while I have you here, I didn't have this one listed, but I want to ask you this because we were talking about Maple Grove a few seconds ago, and it was up for sale for several years. There was several people that were close to buying it, and then in April, well, I knew about this deal back in February, but I was not allowed to legally, not legally, I was not allowed to tell the world about this. But back during the first national event of the year, I knew that Kenny Koretsky and his family bought Maple Grove, but I wasn't allowed to say anything. Now
Okay.
it's official as of April that they released it. What are your thoughts on racers and the Koretsky family keeping Maple Grove and not having it sold to a developer?
I think it's a wonderful thing. Uh, I obviously love this sport.
Is that
I
right?
think it's great for families. It's great for kids. It keeps people off the street, and I think the Koretskis will do a great job. They love the sport as well, and I think Kenny is going to do some great improvements to the track, and I think it's all going to be good. If probably be great. So with Englishtown going away, it was pretty scary when Echo was in all its turbulence, and then when we heard Maple Grove was for sale, it, us up here in New England got pretty freaked out.
Yeah, and I'm right here in the mix of all three of them. I could have lost all three tracks.
Right.
And
Yeah.
thankfully, the Pinelands Commission threw the kibosh on IAA trying to purchase well, not purchase, but well, I guess purchasing, making it a storage facility, like they did with Oak Ridge Township Raceway Park. And then with Maple Grove, we didn't know what was going on with that. I knew the people that was trying 2 years ago, and then COVID hit, and then they stopped trying to buy, and then I heard multiple people were trying to buy, and then it just went nowheres, and then all of a sudden I had some racers that were in Pomona calling me up on the Saturday of Pomona saying Anthony Maple Grove was sold, and I was like, "Are you for real?" And they were like, "Yeah," to Kenny Koretsky and his family, but he can't say anything yet. So I was like, "Okay, well I'll just wait for it to be, wait for me to legally say it, I guess." And then in April, towards the end of the month, they made the announcement.
Yeah, it's great.
Uh,
It's a great track. It's a very special it's a very special track to me. So we're hoping it's around for a long time.
Yes, hopefully. Let's keep it that way.
Yeah,
I know that
absolutely.
I know that there was some incidents in May from a TV show that be airing later this year that some people are not very pleased with how all that happened. But you can't predict the weather. All the people who know that have been going to that racetrack for the longest time, you included, myself. There's been many a times when we've been when we've been going there to race, and it's been rained out. You can't do nothing about it. It's the way it is in Pennsylvania. The weather, it's going to rain at one point or another. It's just the way it is. So some people were very, very upset with the rain. Then they started racing at nighttime, and there was several crashes, two cars that caught on fire. So that's for the Street Outlaws No Prep Kings filming that's going to air later this year, and a lot of fans were not pleased with it. So you said take it to the
That's
street, but
that's
well,
the difference between a dramatized TV show, and
yeah,
competitive racing. They're
yeah,
very, very different.
yes. Well, I know a lot of people on that TV show, but well, I won't say all of it, but I do know a lot of those people that are on that show, and I do follow it because I do write about it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, yeah. I mean, it's just it's different, right? It's a
yes,
TV show.
yes.
Yes.
and they have to have drama somewhere. So the past
Absolutely.
few races, there's been fights in it, so it's
Right.
bound to happen in one way or another. But we'll talk about the NHRA. So you told me previously, Jay, that if you had the opportunity, you would move up. You hinted at it about midway through this interview that you wanted to go nitro racing before you went alcohol racing. So could you talk about what it would take for you to potentially move up to either the nitro funny car or top fuel dragster class?
Money.
Well, that's the problem with everything in racing.
Yeah, it is. Yep. But I'd love the opportunity to run a top fuel team, but it would take, a major sponsor and, um, a major commitment. But the option is always there. It would be very interesting. I think the top fuel classes, because of their TV time, it's a better opportunity to sell a sponsor. Although I believe very strongly that the alcohol class in NHRA can be a great bargain for a corporate sponsor. We have a TV package, there's the regional races, and there's all kinds of opportunities for a sponsor at a discounted rate compared to top fuel or nitro.
Yes.
And sometimes it's hard to convince them of that. And so who knows? I'd love the opportunity. It'd be fun to try.
But that's
So who knows what
move up-
tomorrow brings?
very
We're
true.
trying to win a region championship this year and get ready for next year. So
Yes, and you have a driver that has competed at the highest level in Nitro Funny Car, and Phil Burkhart. So it's a possibility he's already used to it. So maybe he'll be the driver if you do get the opportunity to move up one day. He'll stay with you when you do move up.
you never know. He's actually going down to Bristol to drive a funny car, a nitro funny car down there this weekend.
For the Reese's team, the Australian team.
No, for a team out of Virginia.
Who would that be?
I don't
Do you
know.
know?
I don't know who they are.
I could tell you in a second. Give me a second. Well, you
It's the
talked
same-
about.
It's the same guy he drove for in Virginia, a month ago.
I'm gonna find that out real fast.
And if people out there are interested in more information on Follow a Dream, check our website out, followdream.org. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. Tori and Taylor are doing a great job promoting us on social media. So friend us, follow us.
Yes, I saw that they shared it. Jackie shared it. Tori shared it, or Tori or Taylor shared it onto their Facebook pages, and the your racing team shared it as well. I saw that they shared it. Phil's driving the Hershiser Racing funny car. I don't know who that
Okay.
is. Never heard of that guy.
Yeah, I
You
think
talked
they're out
about
of Virginia.
you talked about money for this if you did move up, and we know that it's going to take millions of dollars to move up to run one of those things, and it could take some a major corporate sponsor to do that. Do you think that that's a possibility today? With we're getting out of the whole COVID mess that we were in for 2 years. Do you think that that's a possibility now, if one was interested?
I think anything is a possibility.
Okay.
If you limit your thoughts, then you're limiting where you're going.
Very true.
Brad, I believe it was Brad Kozlowski said, if your dreams aren't big, if your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough.
The NASCAR driver.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. As we know, there was well, I was involved with that race team last year. Josh Hart, he was in the alcohol ranks. He raced in Division 1 for a while. What, 5 years? I think it was 4 years, and then he moved up to the big boy ranks in racing Top Fuel, and so it's possible. There's people that do this all the time. Doug Foley was in the alcohol ranks for a few years, and he moved up as well. So, hey,
Oh, it's
never know.
absolutely possible.
Yeah.
You know, you just, all the right pieces have to come together to make it possible.
Yes, I agree. So maybe it could become possible, and you can move up.
Absolutely. Yes.
Well, Jay, thanks for your time tonight, and I will see you at ACO in August, and I'll also see you again there. Well, not at ACO, but I'll see you in September at Maple Grove for the national event. Thanks for your time. Go ahead, Jay.
Super. Look forward to it, and thank you very much for your interest in me and Follow a Dream, and thanks for having us on.
Yes. Jay, thanks again for joining us. Everyone, besides being on Facebook Live and YouTube Live right now, this recording will also be placed on rumble.com and BitChute, and also transformed into a podcast on anchor.fm. Thanks again, Jay, for joining us tonight, and good luck the rest of the season, and I'll see you in August at ACO Dragway.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. And remember, do not let your fear stop you. Let your dreams drive you.
Thanks for that message, Jay.
Have a great night.